is your educator Priyanka Thakur. I'm teaching you life sciences and I welcome you all on our YouTube channel Guru Mantra Shiksha Ka Granth. Today in this video we are going to talk about regulation of gene transcription. And to know more about this video, you can check our description box. You will get to know what other topics we are going to cover today. Okay, so let's start with regulation of gene transcription. So we will be studying the regulation of gene transcription in eukaryotes as well as prokaryotes. But today we will talk about the regulation of gene transcription in only prokaryotes. In prokaryotes, this process is done by gene regulatory proteins, which binds with regulatory sequences. If you have watched my previous videos, you better know that what are regulatory sequences, what are gene regulatory proteins. Fine. So in prokaryotes, what kind of genes are responsible for the regulation of transcription? These are gene regulatory proteins which will be binding with the regulatory sequences. Now these proteins, they can act as an activator or a repressor. Okay, they can be positively regulating the process of transcription or they can regulate it in a negative manner. So what is positive regulation? It occurs when a regulatory protein, it needs to be an activator. An activator will bind to target DNA site, which most of the time is operator, and increases the rate of transcription. So you understand, when an activator, which is actually a regulatory protein, binds to the operator, it enhances the rate of transcription. Such regulation is called positive regulation, in which the rate of transcription is being enhanced. And now what about negative regulation? So it will occur when a repressor, which is again a regulatory protein, because we know a regulatory protein can be an activator or repressor. So when a repressor binds to our DNA target site or operator, it will prevent the gene expression. And how will it be able to do the same? I mean, how it will be able to prevent the gene expression? How this repressor will be doing this work? We'll get to know about this in our further section. Now, what is constitutive gene or housekeeping genes? Some genes can be positively regulated and some genes can be regulated negatively. But there are some genes which are constitutive genes and are also called as housekeeping genes. These genes remain active at all the times. They are not subjected to regulation and are expressed at a constant rate because they are essential to fulfill the general function of our cells. See, our cell is continuously performing some general functions, and these general functions needs some genes to make their product, and hence the function of the cell will continue. Okay, so these are the genes which are not under any regulation. We can have our example here. See, genes encoding enzymes of glycolysis. Okay, so whatever genes which are encoding the enzymes of glycolysis, all are constitutive genes or housekeeping genes. Glycolysis is the general function of the cell which is occurring in each and every cell. Okay, and you know that it can occur in aerobic as well as in anaerobic cell. Now, what is the operon model? There is a model called operon model which has been formulated by Jacob and Monod in 1961 to show us how the gene regulation occurs during transcription. Operon model, it is a unit of bacterial gene, or you can say bacteriophages also. Fine. So operon model is a unit of bacterial gene expression and its regulation. Operon model will be responsible for the bacterial gene expression and its regulation. It will have an operator, a promoter, and structural genes and some regulatory sequences which are recognized by regulatory proteins. But regulatory gene will not be a part of operon model. Remember, the main parts of an operon are promoter, operator, and structural genes. All the genes in an operon are expressed as a single unit. Remember this thing, that all the genes in an operon are expressed as a single unit. Only a single promoter is required to initiate and regulate transcription of all structural genes. We are having the example here, the lactose operon, and another example is there, which is tryptophan operon. Today in this video we will only talk about lactose operon. I think you have checked our description box, and you know that what other topics we are going to cover today. So this is a general model of operon. This is a regulatory gene which itself is not a part of operon. See, only promoter. Here will be the presence of promoter also. Okay, promoter will be present here. Promoter, operator, and structural genes. These are the main operon. These form the operon. These regulator gene, it will be transcribing an mRNA which will form a repressor. This repression, in the absence of any inducer, get binds to the operator and then prevent the RNA polymerase to initiate the transcription from the promoter region, and hence no structural genes will be transcribed and none of their product will be formed. This is repression. And in case the inducer is present, there will be the formation of inducer repressor complex, and hence the repressor would not be able to get bind to the operator region, and now the RNA polymerase will bind to promoter and normal transcription will occur, and we will get the product of our structural genes as well. Fine. So what is a lac operon? This such kind of model which we just saw is a model of inducible operon, and lac operon is also a type of inducible operon. Fine. The lac operon consists of 3 structural genes, an operator and a promoter. Fine. So its products. The product of lac operon, these are involved in the conversion of lactose into glucose and galactose. Whatever will be the product, it will be breaking the lactose into glucose and galactose. We know that lactose is formed by the condensation of glucose and galactose, but in lac operon, it will be getting converted into glucose and galactose again. Fine. What is a lac operator? So a region that lies between promoter and structural gene is called operator, and this operator gene interact with regulatory proteins. We just saw it that the regulatory protein which is encoding a repressor, the repressor is getting attached to the operator and further inhibiting the transcription of proteins. So lac operator is a region in between the promoter and structural gene which will interact with regulatory proteins. We have 2 types of operators in lac operon. One is primary and other is secondary. Primary, also known as O1, which is a palindromic sequence. I hope you know the palindromic sequence, like if you read it in 5' to 3' direction or either in 3' to 5' direction, it will be same. Okay, the sequence will be same. So O1, which is a palindromic sequence present in between -5 to +21, to which lac repressor binds and prevent RNA polymerase from initiating transcription at promoter. Remember, O1 is present in between -5 to +21, and you know that -5 means upstream to the initiating point and +21 means downstream to the initiating point. Fine. Secondary, it includes O2 and O3 operators. These are present at +410 and -90 positions. O2 is present at +410 and O3 at -90 position respectively. But these are comparatively weaker operators and they have lesser affinity for lac repressor as compared to the O1. O1 is much more. It is having the much more affinity for lac repressor as compared to O3 and O2 and O3 operators, which are secondary operator present in the lac operon. Okay, this operator will bind to the RNA polymerase and will prevent the initiation of transcription and at promoter. So what are now lac structural genes? I'm not telling you about the operator because in my previous video I have covered the operator reason of prokaryote as well as eukaryotes. So you can check that video. It is present in the playlist. Go to the video just present above this video. Fine. So lac structural genes. A structural gene is simply a gene that encodes for any protein or RNA. You know that? A structural gene is first transcribed into RNA and then it will be encoding. That RNA will be involved in the formation of a protein. So a structural gene simply it is a gene that encodes for any protein or RNA. So do you understand which part of DNA is transcribed into RNA? It is a structural gene that we call, these genes are called structural genes, which are actually transcribed into RNA and further proteins are being synthesized. Lactose is beta galactoside used by Escherichia coli for energy and as a carbon source. Fine. E. coli use lactose as a source for its energy. So its uptake, the uptake of lactose and its degradation is mediated by structural genes. Fine. Either it is uptake or degradation of lactose. It is mediated by structural gene. Lac operon has 3 structural genes. It is LAC-Z, which codes for beta galactosidase, and this beta, we know that we just read it, that the product of structural genes in lac operon will be responsible for the cleavage of lactose into glucose and galactose. So here this is first structural gene LAC-Z, which encodes for beta galactosidase, which further cleaves lactose into glucose and galactose. LAC-Y, it encodes for beta galactoside permease. This beta galactoside permease is a transport protein and help in the transport of lactose into the cell. LAC-A codes for beta galactoside transacetylase. Now this gene is not involved in any kind of catabolism, like beta galactoside transacetylase is not responsible for catabolism of our lactose, but it is required for the detoxification of the compounds, and it will be adding an acetyl group to beta galactoside, and this acetyl group will be transferred from acetyl coenzyme A to beta galactoside, and thus beta galactoside having a acetyl group will be subjected to for detoxification. So all the genes which are transcribed here, these are transcribed into a multigenic mRNA. Fine. So you got to know about lac structural genes. There are 3 types of structural genes present in the lac operon: LAC-Z, Y, and A. And remember which enzyme is being formed by which gene. Lac repressor. Again, I'm telling you that I'm not going to tell about operator in this video. You can check out my previous video. So it is a product of trans-acting regulatory gene. Lac repressor is not a part of operon. It is a product of trans-acting regulatory gene. If you don't know about cis and trans-acting elements, you can ask me in the comment section. I will be answering your question. Okay. So it is a product of trans-acting regulatory gene that regulate the transcription of structural genes. This lac repressor regulate the transcription of structural genes. Fine. Regulatory genes also called as I genes because it act as a repressor. It is inhibiting. Okay, so that's why this regulatory gene in the lac operon is also which is not a part of operon for sure. Okay, but regulatory gene I gene, it encodes for the lac repressor, and this lac repressor can bind the expression of Z, Y and A. The lac repressor, which will be encoded by the regulatory gene, the I gene, it will be blocking the expression of Z, Y and A. It is a homotetramer. Remember, lac repressor is having 4 subunits and all are same. And these lac repressor have high affinity for lac operator, mainly the primary type of lac operator. But binding to the lac operator, we know that it prevents the transcription initiation by RNA polymerase that has bound to RNA promoter. Fine. So at one time, only 2 subunits of repressor bind to operator, and binding occurs in the mesher group. You know that operator is a part of DNA. Okay, genes are present. Genes are the segments of DNA which carry the information. Fine. So DNA, there will be mesher group and minor group. So at once, only 2 subunits of repressor will bind to the operator, which is itself is a part of DNA. Okay, so binding will occur in the mesher group. So lac repressor has 2 recognition site. Definitely it is having the 2 recognition site. One is for recognizing the operator. The site which recognizes the operator is called DNA binding site because operator is a part of DNA. So DNA binding site will be recognizing the operator. And other site is called allosteric site. This site, you know that what is an allosteric site? Site other than the active site is called allosteric site. So allosteric site can bind to lactose and its analogs. So when repressor binds to lactose or its analogs, it undergoes a kind of conformational change and it's lost all its affinity for the operator. Now, so we can say in the presence of lactose, repressor fails to bind with operator. In the presence of lactose, repressor fails to bind with the operator because of lactose bound to the allosteric site of the repressor and cause a conformational change in it. Now its affinity for the operator is decreased. It no longer will be binding to the operator. Now operator allow the RNA polymerase to bind with the promoter region. Now there will be initiation of transcription and we will get our desirable product. Fine. But if there is no lactose, then repressor will bind to operator and won't allow the transcription of structural genes. See, inducible operon. Here lac mRNA, you see, this is the repressor, this is the inducer. Okay. So this is our RNA polymerase. Fine. So you saw that this RNA polymerase is functioning when this repressor fails to get attached to the operator region and the structural genes are being transcribed now. Why this repressor fails to get attached to the operator region? Because our lactose come here, it get attached to the allosteric site of the repressor. Fine. So inducible operon, it is an operon which expresses itself in the presence of substance called inducer. So this kind of operon is called inducible operon. And the operon we are studying right now, lac operon, is an example of inducible operon. Substances that cause the induction of transcription of structural genes by inhibiting to regulatory proteins or repressor is called inducer. Do you understand? An inducer is a substance that can cause the induction of transcription of structural proteins by binding to the regulatory proteins. The inducer will be binding to the allosteric site of the regulatory protein. It will cause a conformational change in this protein and won't allow it to bind to the operator region, and that's how there will be the transcription of structural genes. In lac operon, lactose and its analog act as inducer. What is negative regulation of a lac operon? We know that a repressor, when it get bind to the operator, it will cause a negative regulation. Lac operon is said to be negatively regulated when repressor bind to operator. When repressor bind to operator and prevent transcription of structural genes. Lac operon is said to be negatively regulated when pressure bind to operator and prevent transcription of structural gene. Thus we can say that lack pressure is a negative regulator, and if there is no inducer, there will be no synthesis of beta galactosidase, beta galactoside permease, beta galactoside transacetylase. Why? Because pressure is a negative regulator and it will be negatively regulating the transcription of structural genes. When an inducer is present, then it can bind to the allosteric site of lac repressor and prevent the repressor from binding to operator. Allolactose. It's not lactose actually. It is allolactose, analog of lactose, which is the main inducer. The main inducer is allolactose. Gratuitous inducer is the one which at the C, you know that there will be the formation of beta galactosidase, and beta galactosidase will be cleaving the lactose into galactose and glucose. So here we can say that our product, our inducer is the substrate for the product which is being transcribed by the structural genes, definitely, you know. But the one inducer which is actually a substance which actually acts as an inducer, but it's not a substrate for beta galactosidase. Such kind of inducer is called gratuitous inducer because it is itself is not a substrate for beta galactosidase. It is an inducer but not a substrate for beta galactosidase. Normally our inducer is a substrate for the beta galactosidase, but here this kind of inducer is an inducer but not a substrate for beta galactosidase. For example, isopropyl thiogalactoside. Isopropyl thiogalactoside, IPTG, it is an synthetic analog of lactose, but it is not a substrate for beta galactosidase. Fine. Now let's talk about lac mutation, the important one. My next topic will be on amidozygotes. So you will understand that topic only if you are having the information about these lac mutations. Lac mutations can be constitutive, uninducible, dominant and recessive, cis-acting and trans-acting. When we say, you know that constitutive gene keeps on expressing itself, okay, at a constant rate. So what are constitutive mutation in lac operon? Here, a gene is mutated, okay, a gene is mutated and is being transcribed continuously, even in the absence of an inducer. See, we know that a gene cannot be transcribed continuously in mainly in lac operon we are talking about. We know that gene cannot be transcribed continuously if there is no inducer. Inducer needs to be there because inducer will be binding to the repressor and will prevent its binding, further binding to operator. But constitutive mutation, it occurs in the operon which is containing a mutated gene, and this gene is being transcribed continuously even in the absence of an inducer. Such kind of mutation is called constitutively mutations, and the gene is called constitutively mutated gene. So in constitutive lac mutation, all the three genes are not turned off, OFF, even if lactose is absent. Even if the lactose is not there, our inducer is not there, the constitutive gene will be giving its expression continuously because they are being mutated. Fine. Uninducible mutation. Now this uninducible mutation is opposite of constitutive mutation. Here the expression of three structural gene is not being turned off, and in uninducible mutation it cannot be turned on. You can I think it's the sound of crackers, if you can hear them. If you can, then that's fine. So in uninducible mutation there is no transcription of mutated genes. There is no transcription of structural genes even in the presence of lactose. So uninducible mutated genes cannot be transcribed even in the presence of lactose. Even the lactose is there, our structural genes won't be able to get transcribed. Now you understand what is constitutive mutation. In constitutive mutation, even the lactose is absent, there will be continuous transcription. In uninducible mutation, there will be no initiation of transcription even in the presence of the lactose. We know that mutations can be dominant and recessive. This is a very basic thing. But how can we know that mutation is dominant or recessive? For this, what we need to do, we have to take, for example, a strain of Escherichia coli which is not having our IgG or mutated lac operon. Fine. So in this kind of operon, in this kind of strain, which is a mutated one, which is having a lac mutation, we can insert a wild type gene, wild type operon. If the mutation is recessive, then the wild type operon will restore the normal control on transcription irrespective of presence and absence of our mutant. Fine. So you can read it. To determine whether the mutation is dominant or recessive, we need to introduce a wild type lac operon into a strain with the lac mutation. Lac positive and lac negative, dominant for regulatory and recessive for regulatory gene. These are wild type. Lac I positive is the wild type. Lac I negative is the mutant type, respectively. If lac I negative is recessive, then introduction of lac positive, it will restore the control irrespective of the mutant type, because we know that if the mutant is recessive, then it won't be expressing itself in the presence of a dominant gene. So that's how we can know if the mutation is dominant or recessive. If the mutation is recessive, we can introduce our dominant gene there. In dominant gene, if dominant gene is able to express itself, we confirm that this mutation is the recessive one. Fine. Cis-acting, you know that these mutation, they can such mutated genes can show their effect on the same DNA where it is present, while the trans-acting can show the effect on the different DNA also. Fine. So now please be focused now. What is lac I negative? It means mutant. Regulatory protein mutant. This one is regulatory protein mutant. What is the normal function of regulatory protein? It encodes for the repressor, and that repressor binds to the operator in the absence of inducer. So if the regulatory gene is being mutated, then there will be no formation of our repressor, or there will be a formation of non-functional repressor. If there is no repressor, if there is non-functional repressor, then we know that our transcriptional genes will be transcribing constitutively. There will be the constitutive expression of lac operon because there is no repressor or a non-functional repressor is present. And when non-functional repressor can be formed, when there is a mutation in the regulatory gene. Fine. So it is generally recessive and trans-acting. So what is lac-IS? This is uninducible. See, I just told you the uninducible and constitutive mutations. Now this type of mutation is uninducible. S is actually, I think, showing the uninducible nature. Okay. Such a mutant is dominant, trans-acting, and uninducible. It means it changes the repressor so that it can no longer bind the inducer. Here, the repressor will not be binding to inducer. There will be change in the repressor, and it can no longer bind to the inducer. Now it means it can bind to the operator and can continuously, it can turn off the transcription, our structural units, transcription of our structural unit. So lac I, in this, the transcription is constitutive, and in if the mutation gene is like mutated for uninducible nature, it will not be in transcription. I mean, transcription will not be initiated even in the presence of inducer. Why? Because our regulatory protein is mutated, and it cannot now bind to inducer, but it can bind to operator and can inhibit the transcription of our structural genes. Hope you understand it. Now what is lac-I negative D? Now listen, it is a dominant negative. It is a dominant negative, and this mutation occurs in the DNA binding site of the protein. We know that in the regulatory gene there is a homotetramer. Regulatory gene actually forms a homotetramer. So one of the subunit of this homotetramer become poisonous for the whole homotetramer, for all other subunits of the tetramer, leading to the constitutive expression even when wild type subunits are present. This one is dominant, like I. Listen, like I. It means there is no formation of repressor. Either there is a formation of non-functional repression, but it is dominant. Why dominant? This one unit, which can repress the function of all other wild type genes, wild type subunits. That's why we are saying it a negative dominant. It is dominant over the wild type subunit also. It is preventing the expression of the wild type subunit also, but it results in the constitutive expression even in the if the what our it is inducer is present. It doesn't matter if the inducer is present or not. Okay, there will be continuous expression of our genes, our structural genes, because there will be no repressor now. It doesn't matter if inducer is present or not. There is no regulator or a non-functional regulator which is not able to get attached to the operator, and there will be constitutive transcription of our structural genes. But why this is called as negative dominant? Because we know that here there is no form. This is a mutated type, but dominant over other subunits of the tetramer. Fine. Now, lac OC is a mutation in the operator region. This does not allow the binding of repressor molecule with the operator. So it is dominant, cis acting, and the result will be constitutive transcription. Why? Because now the repressor won't be able to bind to the operator due to mutation in the operator region. LAC-P, it is a mutation in the promoter region which will be uninducible mutation, because any mutation in the promoter region will stop the RNA polymerase to initiate the transcription. So it is recessive, cis acting, and uninducible mutation. I hope you understand these now. So my next lecture will be based on this. Wait for the lecture. Till now, take care, stay safe, and do join our channel, subscribe us, and join us wherever you want. Bye bye.